What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of the Dag Life Podcast here at the Dean Aguilar Group in San Diego, where we talk about everything real estate related and beyond with all of our guests on our show. Today, we have a very special guest, a very dear friend of mine. She is a wife, a mother, and finally a realtor and also a badass businesswoman, Miss Caitlin Orduno.
Oh, thank you.
How are you?
Doing good.
I'm so happy to have you on the show. For those that have seen our work before, we used to have obviously a podcast for the team of the brokerage that didn't kind of translate into longevity for us. Obviously, we have a lot of other things going on, but I'm so happy that you're here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. This is going to be good stuff today.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait to hear all about Caitlin's world the last several months. I know a lot's been going on, especially with you and the hubby at home, and kind of you guys to kind of expand your horizons and dabbling in other areas of real estate and kind of just growing businesses. So tell us a little bit about Caitlin and her journey into real estate.
My journey into real estate, I would have to say it starts when I actually got pregnant going to school at SDSU.
Okay.
And so graduating from San Diego State with a 9-month-old baby, I knew that I didn't want to go and get a 9-to-5 job.
Mm-hmm.
And so that led me to exploring pretty much anything that could allow me the freedom to work for myself. And I dabbled in many things.
Okay.
And after a lot of trial and error, and after baby number 2, my husband and I decided to jump into wholesaling.
Nice.
And wholesale real estate is a completely different world than residential real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And we both did that part-time while he was working full-time and I was full-time mom at home with the 2 little ones. And funny enough, I really never saw myself as a realtor or becoming a realtor. My mom growing up, she was an agent. And so I helped her study for her test when I was like 8 years old. I was like quizzing her before she took her license test.
Love that.
And so it's really interesting how it all came full circle. Is after we spent several years in wholesale, I knew that there was an opportunity for me to move over into residential retail side. And I fell in love with helping people buy and sell. And it's just been a great ride. So.
Sounds like an incredible journey. Right? Obviously, crazy life-changing moment in college. Shout out to Alex.
Yep.
Good job. Good job. Way to lock her down. Obviously, things happen, and you have to make a pivot and adjustment and kind of change course with life. And obviously, on the surface, with where you guys are now, obviously those changes and making those adjustments have worked out great for you guys, right? Obviously, things happen and journeys change and challenges come up, and life itself happens. But do have to applaud you guys. You've done an amazing job, and it's been obviously great. Even getting to know him a lot more, whether it's at the gym or him being a part of the team, and obviously the kiddos. So everyone has their own journey and their path. What would you say, kind of coming into understanding the journey you wanted to take? What would you say was the hardest transition, aside from having children at a young age?
Yes.
Don't want to give you the easy one. What was the other hardest transition about, like transitioning to real estate?
I think the hardest transition is that everyone gets into real estate thinking you're going to have full control over your schedule and your time, and that's a lie.
Does not exist.
That's a lie. So I have worked more than I've ever worked being in real estate, and I think that's one thing a lot of people don't understand is that you're on call basically 24/7.
Right.
That's one of the hardest adjustments, was relearning what a work-life balance is, if you can call it that.
Right, and I think, and it's funny, when I first started hearing her say this, Miss Aphrodite, the queen herself, started using the word harmony, right? Because balance, not necessarily harmony, makes the two blend. And I think that is the better word to kind of use, to paraphrase and kind of describe the lifestyle, whether you have children or not. Because even when you do, like, obviously single guy, no children, so it's still that harmony I have to make to balance. Now, you can make commitments to when you're not going to be available. You can make commitments to where you need to be accessible all the time. So obviously definitely one of the harder parts. What has been the most exciting or most fulfilling part of real estate for you?
I think the most exciting and fulfilling piece is actually when we started wholesaling. One of our first few wholesale transactions was with this woman who was living in her childhood home, and it was filled to the brim with things.
Just hoarded.
Hoarded out, not livable conditions, but she was living there. And dealing with mental health issues, really needing a fresh start, but was terrified to trust anyone. She didn't have a bank account, anything. And through that, even though we were newer into our wholesale career, being able to help that woman physically clean out her house, sell it, get a fresh start, that was like the most rewarding thing, getting that hug from her at the end saying, "You changed my life."
I love that. And I think the power in that comes in, obviously, on the surface, people look at realtors. Most sales jobs is they're money chasers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have a bad reputation often, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to see the detailed component of stories like that, where we are changing people's lives for the better. Sure, is there a lot of monetary value in place? 100%. But tell me a very fulfilling career that isn't, right? Everyone looks at it differently. Most of us, at least here at DAG, and predominantly pretty much all of us, it's not about that. It's about the change we get to make in people's lives. So it's amazing to hear that. So I appreciate you sharing that, right? Obviously, looking at kind of where you are now, when you were in college,
Mm-hmm.
what did you think you'd be doing by now? Was it always real estate or some kind of component, or was it completely different from the path you're on now?
I knew while in school that I wanted to own my own business.
Mhm.
I knew from getting into school that I ultimately wanted to take that path. I thought I was going to start out at a corporate position, nice, safe, and secure, and then things happened, life changed, and I never thought I would be in real estate, but it has been, now that I think about it, the most aligned position I could have been
I
in.
love that.
So,
I love that. So talk to us about that, right? Because alignment for everyone is different. So
Mm-hmm.
it's aligned with kind of who you are as a mother, as a wife, as a realtor, as a businesswoman, entrepreneur. Where's that alignment come into play in your mindset where it's like, I'm exactly where I need to be?
one thing about me is that I love to learn. And real estate is amazing in the fact that you can learn something new every single day in real estate and still not know it all.
In perpetuity, like forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
It has like the depth and the width. There are so many different avenues inside of real estate, and it's always changing. So within that, it keeps me fascinated, and I think that's one of the things that is the most aligned for me, is knowing that I can continue to learn and grow without having to change completely the
Right.
industry that I'm in, because it's always changing.
Yeah, that's super important to kind of point out, right? Because it is, you have to have a growth mindset, and you obviously do, right? A lot of different challenges and changes, kind of getting to where you are now, right? In terms of, obviously, we've been partners on the team now for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we've worked closely together. Everybody has their own cup of tea or their shot of tequila that they look for when they look for a real estate team, and
Totally.
we obviously on DAG Life podcast got to talk about DAG Life.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your journey to either finding a new team or your transition when you did ultimately find DAG, what was something where you're like, hey, this is home, this is where I'm going to thrive, this is where I need to be, where you're like, all right, this is the place?
Wow, great question. So, I think for me, what I was looking for the most in a team, and I did interview with several teams before finding DAG, and when I came here, it was very close between another team, and I thought that that other team that had more of an investment background was the right fit for me. And then I slept on it, and after just getting to meet everyone who was in the office when I came in to interview, the family component of DAG was like unmatched. And I was like, everybody's so welcoming, and it felt like they were going to support me. And as a newly licensed agent at that time, I felt extremely lucky to find a team that provided so much support in the way that they train, in the way that they share unwillingly or like willingly all of the insider secrets, and being able to know that at any hour of any day, pretty much, I could get help.
Someone's available, right?
Yes.
I mean, now on over 100-person team, it's not easy, but it's easy for always someone to kind of lend a helping hand. And I think you said something where I just kind of like perked up and I kind of smiled because as soon as you said family,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's people talk about culture all the time, but not everyone really fucking has culture, right? People talk about family and love and energy and resources, but sometimes there's always something that kind of throws it off. And
Mm-hmm.
I say it all the time. I talk about it on every single, episode where I'm biased. I've been with Dag since I've been in real estate since day one. I will never leave as long as I'm in real estate. I don't need to. I've never had to. There's nothing out there that can benefit me more than where I'm at now. With one, not only the family, not only the atmosphere, not only the business and professional development, but the personal development from Dean and Aphrodite top down, just as individuals, as people. I haven't met two leaders in my life that have had more of an impact on me, not only business and professionally, but also personally. And I know there's a lot of people that can kind of echo that sentiment, and we all have our own stories, and we all have our own reasons of being here, and it's had a huge impact on all of our lives. Sounds like you made a good decision.
100%. I mean, I have witnessed so many of my friends get into the real estate industry and they have to team hop, it seems, every 6 months
Right.
to find someone that they think can help them. And it's disappointing because it doesn't have to be that way. There are a lot of amazing teams out there, but when it comes to the culture, I think that DAG is unbeatable.
I agree, right? And again, the bias always come into play, so I'll always put it out there, so that's fine. Take it with a grain of salt if you like. Now, obviously, being in the attraction for the director of growth stage for now over 2 years with the team, having roughly 700 phone calls in the last 2 years, which it's a lot of phone calls,
Yep.
and just hearing the amount of overpromise and underdeliver, the amount of discouragement, the amount of fear of checking out other teams because people are promised the world and given nothing. It is a shame to kind of hear how unfortunate it is out there. Luckily, we went from 40 agents to 130 in the blink of an eye, and having the impact that we've had on people's lives in terms of professional and career development and personal development has been great. And I agree with you, right? There are the teams out there where you're going to feel at home and you're never going to want to leave. And I think we've done a pretty decent job at showcasing that. And
Yep.
we always do better, but at the same time, we are an unorthodox group and we're not for everyone.
True.
And that's fine. We're not for everyone. That's fine. That's totally cool. You guys have obviously had a long journey. So tell us a little bit about kind of where you're at now in your career and some exciting changes and some growth coming along the way, since you're all about learning and growing.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I decided to lean into this year was pursuing education at the forefront of my business and knowing that by helping people become more educated, whether that's for their first investment or buying their first home, leaning into that education platform and being able to know that the business is going to come to me instead of feeling like I have to constantly go out there and find people who want to work with me. So letting education guide things, I think, is one of the biggest areas of this year's focus.
I love that. And I love that. And I think, again, having that growth mindset is important, right? Because whether it's this business or any entrepreneurial component, you cannot be a one-trick pony. You have to be able to evolve and have multifaceted levels of business if you do want to thrive and succeed and get to that next level. So super excited for you guys with where you're at now in your journey at this point in time, looking back at 18-year-old Caitlin, looking back at her and say, listen, little girl, this is what I need you to do. You want to give her one or two pieces of advice right in this very moment. What would that look like?
To my 18-year-old self, stop trying to please everyone.
Love it. Elaborate. I want to hear a little bit more.
I think when I was younger, I really just wanted everyone to be happy. I sought the approval of others by trying to do the best work. And although I still do my work and I do it well, I do it because I'm more confident in the work that I put out and not necessarily for the approval of anyone. And knowing that it's more of myself that I'm trying to make proud instead of anyone else.
I love that. And that's so important. So important. Obviously, we are both big on each other's social media. And we kind of know the kind of lifestyle we live, the content we put out. And if there's something that I yell from the rooftops on a daily basis is stop worrying about what other people think, what other people say, and what other people care about in your regard. Because at the end of the day, it's about you and nobody else. Different, you have a husband, you have children, right? Obviously, they're a component to that. But if you don't fill up your own cup, if you don't have that own self-love, self-care, self-respect, self-value, you're not going to get it from anyone else. You need to have it internally first before you can also provide to others. So I think that's a huge component of most people and individuals need to have that kind of mindset of this is about me, my happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's going to compound on top of me being able to make other people happy as long as it comes from me first. Because if not, you're going to be depleted. So couldn't agree more. Obviously, we're on the same wavelength there. Something that I often bring up, and we talk about a lot here at DAG, is legacy. It's a huge part of who we are. It's a huge part of the family. It's a huge component of what Dean and Aphrodite talk about often, right? It's something that's at the forefront because we were just having a conversation with someone earlier is we need to know what the goal and the target is and the game plan is so that you can work towards that fulfillment, towards that happiness, towards that satisfaction, towards a contentment in life to get to where you want to be. For whether it's just Caitlin or Caitlin and Alex and the kids, when you guys talk about legacy, when all is said and done, hopefully more is done than said, what would you like your legacy to be? What does Caitlin want to be remembered for?
Aside from knowing that a big piece of our journey is the generational wealth component for our children to make
Right.
sure that they are secure financially, is whenever I pass, I want people to say, wow, she lived her life to the fullest and she loved really hard.
I love that.
And if that's all that I'm known for, then I don't care.
I just got chills. I literally just got chills because it's so simple yet so powerful. And at the end of the day, you know, for a lot of us, it's really just a very simplistic idea of this is what I want out of life, and you're living it. So it's amazing to kind of see unfold. So one thing that I talk about with all the incredible women on our team, because we have so many of them, a lot of you are mothers, wives, you know, the whole nine. Talk to us a little bit about challenges or how it's been able to work in terms of the harmony of balancing the home and work lifestyle.
In terms of making all of the roles fit together as a mother, as a wife, as a real estate agent, and a mentor, it comes down to your own dedication to how you commit to your time. And I'm really big on the habits that help you be intentional with your time. So that's journaling every evening, that's planning out my day the evening before, and making sure that I stick to that plan of the day is the only way I'm able to fit in all of the things.
Right. You have to stick to that routine.
So yeah, and it's never a routine per se because I think every day in this business is completely different.
Of course.
And so it's about more of the rhythms you put in place in your life and knowing that you have things to fall back on of the operations of your household, of how you communicate to your spouse to help out. That's the only way that all works together is if you're super intentional and you take the time to plan.
I love that. Very important. Time, everything, timing, planning, intentions. Like it all plays a part in making sure the well-oiled machine works, especially with the full household.
Yep.
Right. In terms of Caitlin, since I know you're a very avid reader, and I know you're always reading something.
I am.
What is a book that you're currently reading, and what's the impact around it with your life?
The book that I'm currently reading is How to Build a Story Brand. And I picked up this book because I am in the process of getting ready to launch a new YouTube channel.
Love that.
And I wanted to clarify the message that I was putting out there. So yes, it's me, but beyond who I am, what are the values that I represent in business? And I think that the book has really helped me to shape who I want to serve, how I want to serve them, and how I want to show up.
I love that. So when can we expect this YouTube channel?
Oh, about a few weeks. So,
A few weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking along those values in business, what are some of the values that you do represent?
I would say the values that I represent would be to be honest, kind, and my drive and dedication is the things that I bring to the forefront of every single day.
And that's all the important stuff, all the main things that matter. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. It's been amazing. I love doing this again. I know we did it for a long time. I'm excited to see where this goes, and we're going to obviously be on the show again soon. So I appreciate your time.
All right, sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining another episode of the DAG Life Podcast with the lovely Caitlin Orduno. I'll see you next time.